My name is Zach Goldman. I'm our Vice President of Sales Operations and Transformation. I work for Affinipay. I worked for a company called MyCase. We were acquired by Affinipay 3 months ago. We are in I'll call it the legal tech space. Half of our business is a fintech payments business, and the other half is your traditional SaaS software business model where we sell legal practice management to law firms across the country. I started at MyCase in July of 2021, and MyCase was actually carved out of a public company in October of 2020, and we had basically a mission to grow and become the largest legal tech company in the world. And part of that, it always starts with sales. Like, how do we accelerate sales? And the challenge we were facing is we had a sales force powering the business that was built for a public real estate software company, and it wasn't meeting the needs of what we needed to do from a legal selling standpoint. And I don't mean like actually like illegal, but like we were selling to lawyers, and this was built for a different sales process. We then also had all these different systems like Zora and Workato and our product itself that talked to Salesforce in very custom, rigid ways. And in order to change anything, it involved our developers, it involved outsourced work with Salesforce. It was a very expensive headache. It was really just we needed something that was going to allow us, without adding headcount, to be able to quickly say, if we want to change the way leads are routed, and it's really hard, I won't go into the weeds here, but our Salesforce, which we're currently going through a Salesforce transformation project, which will only make things even better, but we didn't have the time at that moment in last summer to be able to do all of that work while trying to grow sales. So we basically said, if we can just start with simply saying every time a lead comes in, go vet. So I'll frame the problem. The problem is when you go, our number one source of, we're an inbound business, and all of our business really comes from people starting free trials. It's 90% of the business we close, and we are very highly transactional sales cycle. Average sales cycle is 6 days. And so literally every day matters, and from a sales rep's perspective, every hour matters. We had nothing in between somebody starting a trial and that showing up as a lead in Salesforce that's routed to a salesperson. And why that was a problem is I, myself, Zach Goldman, could go start a trial, which is clearly not, I'm not buying MyCase because I work there, and it would get routed to a salesperson. So it was, one, eating up round robin spots, which is frustrating. Two, no intelligent routing. So most of the times it wasn't somebody at MyCase, but it was somebody who just maybe was a client of a law firm, not buying, but they accidentally signed up for a trial. Then there was the duplicate situation. So I could go in and start 10 trials, and all 10 would get routed to different salespeople. So you put all that together, and we did some analysis, and the sales team was spending north of 2 hours a day per rep vetting leads, figuring out what duplicates were. And that's just an incredibly inefficient way to spend your day selling. We had something called a Zuqua 2 companies ago that then when they were, I think, acquired by Okta, it was sort of shut down. I was told to look at Workato, and at Dreamforce in 2018 I did, and our biggest thing we were trying to solve was Salesforce and NetSuite. How do we seamlessly get data from Salesforce to NetSuite to reduce time to generate invoices on a monthly basis? Something that seemed so simple, but the company I got to was using something called Celigo. It wasn't solving those problems. So we actually, it took us, this was again, almost 4 years ago, but it was about a month or two project, and before we knew it, Salesforce was talking to NetSuite in the way that we wanted it to, and everything sort of just spiraled in a good way from there. We saw that we could automate several other processes that involved Salesforce, getting CSV files from AWS, and getting the data structured the right way in Salesforce. We were so blown away with Workato, we really didn't go, like Trey, I think we did a discovery call with them, but it didn't, it seemed like we were trying to move quick, and Workato answered all of our questions, and we were ready to go. We merged with Affinipay. LawPay is their primary product. And the thesis of this is that they have almost 30,000 customers that don't have a legal practice management solution that we want to be selling into. But as we know, like, we're undergoing a systems integration project that's going to probably take until January, but we didn't have until January to start cross-selling. So both companies had Slack, both companies had Salesforce, and both companies had reps that knew how to type, send a new lead. So we created a command in Workato to basically say MyCase new lead, which meant I'm sending a lead to MyCase, or LawPay new lead, I'm sending a lead to LawPay. And seamlessly, like, both Salesforces were connected to our Workato instance. Both had a lead created, whichever direction it should have been, and then it was automatically routed to the right rep via Slack, so they could see, you know, John Smith at LawPay just sent me this lead that said they're interested in learning more about MyCase, and I know that they're a LawPay customer. I know that they have this number of employees, and here are the notes from the account exec over at LawPay. As we bring these companies together, we were able to, on day one, which was June 9th, start cross-selling immediately. Our goal was really to be able to, I'd say two things. One is to allow us to scale without piling on headcount, so like very quickly automate certain processes, and then also open up bandwidth for our developers who were Salesforce is such a big piece of our business, as well as the MyCase app, and that integration was managed by our developers. So anytime we wanted something new to happen, they had to write to the Salesforce API. They don't know sales processes, nor should they, they should be focusing on building our product to the best of its capabilities. But then there was our developers, which anywhere from, we'd say, if you have 40 hours in a work week, like maybe 10 hours of their week was on average spent dealing with the integration with Salesforce. And this was able to take it to zero, essentially. We had 3 developers, really, so it's like 30 hours of their time. And the key piece, which is like harder to put an actual number around, but the fire drill around it, like if for whatever reason, you know, something didn't make its way to Salesforce, like that had to go to the developers. We now can look in Workato if there's an error. Like, why was there an error? The error handling capabilities have just been unbelievable, yeah. In 2023, our big initiative is this transformation piece where we're gonna sit down with every single team in the company and figure out what do we need to automate in order to have you guys running, and like what I described we did for sales, we want to do across the board and have everybody. It's sort of like everybody knows now like what Workato can do for us,